Hello and welcome to my channel where we talk about how you can live your best life and be your best version. Now, ultra successful people have one common thread, which is that they read a lot. Most of the successful people associate reading as the key factor in some capacity to their success. Young Elon Musk used to read 10 hours a day before he grew up to become CEO of Tesla. Former CEO of Microsoft is reading one book a week. In an interview, Warren Buffett was asked what is the key to his success, and he pointed towards a stash of books and said, "Read 500 pages like this every day. This is how knowledge works. It builds up like compound interest." Even research supports that reading is a major part of success. Thomas Corley, a best-selling author of Rich Habits, spent 5 years researching the habits of rich and poor. His findings showed that reading is a significant factor between the two. Let me share two of his findings here. 85% of the wealthy loved reading versus only 26% of the poor. 88% of the wealthy read 30 minutes a day or more versus only 2% of the poor. Now, one may argue they loved reading because they had luxury of time on their hand and they didn't have to do much to earn because they were rich already. However, we also know from autobiographies and stories of many successful people who broke the shackles of poverty read a lot. It is because the love of reading signifies curiosity and passion for learning. The more you learn, the more creative you get and the more chances you have to succeed. My name is Behroz. I'm a finance executive by profession and a personal development coach by passion. Now, not long ago, I used to hardly read one book a year. However, today I read at least 3 books a month. In this video, I will talk about how I got to a stage where I love books and appreciate the benefits of reading books just because I made the process of reading books very convenient and easy for myself. I did this by making use of audiobooks. An audiobook is a recording of a book read out loud, either by the author or a service provider. Now, one such service is provided by Amazon via Audible, which has a library of audiobooks which you can listen on any device using either a paid subscription or by direct purchase of an audiobook. Now, let me call out here. Audiobooks have same benefits as any other physical book, it's just that the experience is different. Knowledge, education, experience, learning, and the list goes on. Now, on the same lines, let me share with you more details on the benefits of audiobook. First and foremost benefit is that you will not just value the act of listening, but also start to admire the act of reading itself. For me, audiobooks made the process of consuming books so easy that when I started with audiobooks, in no time I was able to consume a lot of books. And with that, very quickly I was able to appreciate the power of books and got hooked to the idea of gaining knowledge via books. If you're not a habitual reader, it is difficult to develop the habit of reading books because reading books is time consuming. And you don't realize the benefits unless you have spent some time reading and have read a couple of books. It may very well be the case that the first time you picked up a book, it wasn't good enough, and hence, since it wasn't a good experience, you didn't end up getting hooked to the process of reading. However, if you start with audiobooks, you can consume 3 to 5 books in no time, which should be enough for you to appreciate the power of books and ultimately get hooked to not just listening but also to reading. Second benefit is convenience, which for me has 2 parts. One is that it is easy to carry, so you can choose a posture of your liking while listening to an audiobook, which you can't do while you're reading a physical book. So for me, I can just lie down on a sofa or even lie down in bed and listen to audiobooks and consume that knowledge. Even if it's at night time, even if it's dark in the room, it's easy for me to put on the audio and still listen to the book and consume the knowledge. While it's not possible if I have a physical book because I have to sit slightly upright. Plus, I have to also make sure there is enough light in the room that I am easily able to read the book. Second part of the convenience factor is that you can listen to audiobooks anywhere and even be able to multitask. So if you're one of those who always complain that they don't have time to read, then audiobooks are best for you because you can make use of your idle time. So essentially it benefits you more in activities where you're physically active but mentally idle. One example could be while commuting through public transport, where it may not be easy to pull out a physical book, but it's still easy to put on your headphones and listen to an audiobook. You can stand on a subway, walk through locations, or even carry things in your arms but still be able to listen. And then there are instances, for instance, when you're driving or when you're doing grocery. For me, Costco run is the best example where when I have to go to Costco, it usually takes around 45 minutes because I have to get things in bulk. And in that case, I make use of that idle time where I'm mentally idle but I'm physically active. So I put on the audiobook and listen to an audiobook of my choice. Other examples are when I'm working out, let's say when I'm going to gym or I'm running. Otherwise, if I am doing dishes or I'm making a meal. All these are examples of activities where I am physically active but mentally idle, and hence I can consume this knowledge by using audiobooks. Here I would like to add one more stat from the Thomas Corley research where he's comparing rich habits versus the poor habits, whereby 63% of the wealthy listen to audiobooks on their commute versus only 5% of the poor. The third benefit is that you can consume more, since you can choose the speed of reading and pace as per your liking. This way, one is able to complete the audiobook faster than physical book, and they can hit their reading targets much earlier. Depending on the topic and the type of book, I usually listen to audiobooks at 1.3 to 1.6x speed. The fourth benefit is fun. So let's say if the book is being narrated by the author himself, it just adds more weight to the experience because the author is speaking from the heart. One example here is Barack Obama's book, A Promise promised land, which just because of power of his speech, his eloquency, and his weight of voice makes the experience more enjoyable. Another fun benefit that I found of audiobooks is listening with the family when I'm commuting on long trips. It just makes the whole long trip more enjoyable. Fifth benefit is storage. So I don't have to worry about storing physical books in my house, on the shelves, or in the basement. Rather, audiobooks are available anywhere online on all my devices. The next benefit is durability. Given audiobooks are not physical, they last forever, while physical books may wear out due to interaction with the reader. So these were the benefits, but nothing with benefits is free of challenges. So let's talk about the challenges of audiobooks. Number one is that not every book has an audiobook version. So you may not be able to find your favorite book in the audiobook library. However, it may still be present in a physical book. So for that, you'll have to rely on the physical book. Second is difficulty to take notes, since audiobooks don't have conventional capability of taking notes. Nevertheless, I've made a video on this subject where I share smart note-taking techniques using Audible. In order to access the video, use the link above. Another challenge is distraction, since it's easy to comprehend things when you're reading versus when you're listening to an audiobook. When you're listening to an audiobook, it's easy to zone out and you may miss an important part of the book. Also, since you're not turning pages and not seeing yourself progress through the chapter or the book, at times it feels that this chapter or the story has come to an abrupt end and you don't really know where you are in the story or in the book. Now, the fourth challenge is retention, because some people may not be able to absorb information well when they're listening. This may be more relevant for certain types of books which are information heavy, and hence it's more useful to read them versus listening, because not every book qualifies for a good audio experience. One example is of books that are in a workbook style, which has a lot of information in terms of graphs or numbers or tables. For instance, I would not like someone to read me a lot of numbers. Another example is poetry. I would like to read poetry at my own pace, which is one page at a time and then reflecting on what I've read, which is kind of a hassle on an audiobook. Thank you for listening through the video. Hopefully now you would be more encouraged to using audiobooks as a way to gaining and learning more and more knowledge. In case you liked the video, please don't shy away from pressing the like button, and also subscribe to the channel so you get notified as soon as I put a new content on this channel. Have a great day. Thank you.